How does a cycle of 3 manifest in Y and Z? Well, Y is 25 and Z is 26. So after an O has S with itself, a spirit has sex with itself to stabilize its tree, to grow its own garden. It can then turn into you and create a basket, create a body that brings the gifts from its gardens to other gods. When your spirit god sends you into a vibe to deliver fruits, to deliver gifts to other individuals, you then become the double you. So that's where you as an individual must connect to the collective you, which is the universe, which is then made up by all these other individuals outside of you. And now we're all yous, we're all gods, bringing our gifts to each other inside of the double you, underneath this wet, watery astral realm. By answering the wet, watery double you questions as to where, when, and why a spirit has sacrificed its individuality on the cross to be a part of the vibe, we then get to the letter Y. Y, being the 25th letter in the English alphabet, is all about a spirit connecting with death, connecting with the wet, watery astral realm that connects all vibes in existence. By connecting one's feelings with death, you now create your own 7, your own why, your own reason for why you're connecting with death that makes you individual from all the other spirits that are also connecting with death. So your separate 7 thought as to why you're sacrificing your fiery individual God on the cross to participate in the watery, wet, worldwide web that is the astral realm is then the consciousness that makes you separate from all other consciousnesses that you can communicate with. So the point here is that you are an individual igniting your individuality into a collective. That is what 25 is all about. You ignite your feeling, not just your individuality, but your feeling of connecting with death gives you your 7, which is your reason why. And your reason why you're dying is different than anyone else's reason why they're dying. No one can possibly know why you're in a body except you and, well, me. You're in a body because you want to connect with spaces outside of your own. But the details, the reason why you want to connect with spaces outside of your own is known only to your spirit. So once you know yourself, you have the boundary, you have this thought that blocks out anyone else's opinions because you know why you're connecting with death. So if anyone tries to tell you that, oh, you're actually part of my God, oh, you're actually one consciousness with this thing, you know that they're trying to colonize you because you know your reason for dying is individual from all other spirits in the universe. Once you have this reason, you can now comfortably sleep in the astral realm that you have sacrificed yourself inside of. This is why Y turns into Z. Z is all about sleep. Being the 26th letter and our final letter in the English alphabet, Z is all about feeling like connecting to a creation. So 2 being your feelings and 6 being a creation life, when you feel like connecting to life, you create a soul. That's you creating 8, and now you can sleep in that soul. And that soul is you simultaneously being alone outside of the creation and being all one inside of the creation. And then this is how you're using a creation as a spirit to connect with yourself and all the other spirits that are connecting with that same creation. This is how we get relatable and build anything sustainable with language and light and all of that. So this is where Z is all about sleeping after you connect to the same creation that everyone else has. Because once we all connect to the same words, for example, we can all sleep together because we can all understand each other. We can all create together. We all feel comfortable to be in the same room and go to bed because we can communicate in relatable ways that make us feel understood, which is the whole point of creating simulations like these. So Z is the last letter in the alphabet to show us just how opposite it is to the first letter, A. A is awareness, Z is unawareness. A is woke, Z is asleep. This is why, as a body, you're way less aware of your personal spirit, your personal individual space, than you would be if you weren't that body. The whole point of making a body, and the only reason your body is animated, is because your spirit is creating the feeling of getting out of its space. So it is projecting this feeling into a body that it has made outside of itself, and that's what we call the universe. So this is why you are always the center of your universe, but if you want to get out of your universe, then you must create the universe with all of us. So in order to sleep with other gods and share your fruits, share your gifts in relatable and realistic ways, then it's actually essential that you create a situation where you are unaware of your true individuality and you're unaware of your true God. So you can actually use your soul and use your feelings to believe in the body, believe in the earth structures that you see before you, so you can relate with all the other spirits who are inside that same world, believing in the same structures. This is how we create similar relationships with words to be able to speak in the first place. This is how you, as an individual God, can relate with all these other individual gods on their level. We have to create a level because first there's just nothing and we're too individual. So this is why hierarchy is an illusion. Everything is balanced, but the ego is always trying to figure it out because we desire to do that. Do you see now how all of life, anything in life, is literally a simulation that was made by spirits using light to connect their spaces to other spaces? And the only way we can connect our spaces to other spaces is to build structures together inside of a collective space that we can then tether our spaces to. And that's the idea of always being alone, but creating a situation where you can connect your aloneness to others in a way that then is constantly transforming because we have to. All lies, all of life, all lies in life are created by spirits using light to build structures together. And once they use these structures to limit their awareness, they can now connect with other spirits who have tethered their awareness to the same structures in a relatable and actually comprehensive way. Simulations are all about creating a situation where we can be way less aware of ourselves as spirits, so now we can be aware of other spirits. Otherwise, we'll just be in our own imagination and we would not be able to see anyone past ourselves. This is why I hate all that spiritual consciousness stuff of you are me, I am you. It's colonizer mentality. It's all about erasing the individuality of spirits and saying that they're just all one imagination, which is the ultimate projection and the ultimate white supremacist rationality for the genocide that continues to spread throughout North, South, and Central America. So when you know that you're an infinite individual that is creating a simulation where you sacrifice your infinite individuality to be able to connect with other infinite individuals in a finite and relatably comprehensive and productive way, then this is where you actually build empathy. Empathy is 8's energy. Empathy is knowing that you are an individual soul, so all the souls that you interact with are just as individual. Now, this is why as a spirit, you can really only empathize with other spirits, other souls who share the same subconscious waters as you. As in, you can really only connect with and relate with spirits who have believed in and consumed the same creations as you. As spirits, once we're connecting our 2s with the same 6, the same creation, we then all collectively create an 8, an infinite soul group that allows us to become unaware of ourselves and sleep together, which then creates the water that allows us to communicate with each other in productive ways. This is what creates a subconscious circumstance where we can then use all of our conscious egos to communicate our individual desires in a relatable way. So Z is how we create the astral. So when I say that there are two parts to the whole universe, this is what I mean. Letter A, as one, is the alone realm. The alone realm is pure fire, and it's where every spirit who desires to express their individual imagination is alone in doing so. A is a spirit's awareness. You, as a space, can only be aware of your own space until you create the circumstances where you can sleep with other spaces. That's the astral realm. That's Z. Right now we're in A, where you are full God and you're in full control of your imagination and you're fully aware of who you are. But there's nothing outside of you because it's all you, because you haven't created a situation where you can be unaware and connect that to others. So this is why A is all about being alone. Space is simultaneously separate and whole. So elementally, when a spirit goes from being space into something, fire is the first element. Fire is the element, the A, that resembles awareness and the desire to express how nothingness just became aware that it's nothing. So now it's creating something because it feels like it. So space neither separates us nor joins us because we are space. But we're just all individual sections of space that can only be aware of ourselves until we create something that allows us to be aware of something else. And then that's where space creates life. So as a certain space, we are all infinite in our own imagination. You see this, right? As separately individual spaces, it's impossible for us to touch one another. A space can only touch itself. A space can never go outside of itself to touch or perceive another space. So only I can perceive my imagination, my thoughts, and my feelings. Just like you, as an individual space, can only perceive your own thoughts and your own imagination and your own feelings. And it takes you communicating them for all of us to make that something. And that's why the whole universe is one big conversation. So fire, as the A, shows our desire to be aware. Aware of what? Aware of where we are. Aware of what we're wearing. If we're not wearing something, then let's create something to wear so we have a place to be aware of. This is why space uses its awareness to create places that it can be aware of. But we, as spirits, as space, are no thing. We are unimaginable. So we generate our imagination. We create an imagination so that we can separate from space and show everyone how individual we truly are. But we, as space, as spirits, are no thing. So we generate consciousness, we generate fire, we generate this awareness of ourselves in our individual space so we can separate from no thing and show the universe, shine like a star, and let everyone know that we are something actually. And now we can all be individual somethings inside of this space that we created to express our imaginations. Awareness allows us to go from no thing to something. And once our awareness is aware of this something, we can now use our awareness of this something to learn about our no thing. And this is what we do as spirits. So you can think about your no thing as your spirit in this case. Your awareness would then be your mind. And then the something that you're aware of is your body and everything that your body is connected to. So the point of you having an awareness in a body inside of this space right now is to learn about your spirit and learn about your nothingness. So you can take better control of your own space, take better control of your own water cycle, and connect with spirits outside of yourself, because if you were not stepping outside of your home, you wouldn't even be able to challenge yourself and learn who you truly are. Again, this is why R, being 18, is such a big deal for becoming your own ascended being and stepping out of your home. This is why spirits actually have to leave their home to learn, and this is why it's essential that we keep creating life so we can teach other spirits about themselves once they step out of themselves. So this is the point of you using your ego to learn about your spirit. This is why all spirits are alone in their imagination. Space creates the ego desire to express its individuality by separating from nothing and creating this fiery awareness. But what happens when a spirit does not want to be alone in its awareness anymore, in its fire? Well, time for the second light. It must cool down and become water so it can actually reflect and connect with its own imagination. This is what creates a soul. So by creating a soul, number 8, a spirit can now sleep with itself for infinity and beyond, and cycle through its water, its emotions, that then create its own soul and have its own vibration. Then from here, it can join its soul, it can join its body of water with other bodies of water that spirits have made of a similar vibration. And then this is how spirits join their imaginations to one another, by cooling down and connecting with themselves first so they can be reflective, and then join other people who are reflective. And once multiple spirits are all reflecting their own imaginations together, this is how we start to be able to relate in a way that allows us to create air, that allows us to bring our individual fire into that water, and now communicate our individuality in a way that makes sense to everyone who is a part of the subconscious waters that we are, vibing. This is why the universe is just one big body of water, created by all of us as spirits, joining our individual souls into one collective soul that allows us to all communicate with each other at any time based on how we feel and how conscious we're able to travel the astral realm and visit other simulations. That's what I'm on as Hermes and everything. As far as being a messenger and flying from simulation to simulation based on my awareness of knowing that everything is connected by no thing. And as long as I'm in touch with my spirit, I can travel anywhere I want, whenever I want. And you can too. So the universe is one infinite swirling place of vibrational feeling that allows spirits to connect their individuality with each other in a way that makes sense. We're doing it right now. So the universe is 1/8, one infinite watery pool of swirling emotional vibration where all the spirits who feel like connecting their individuality to other individuals can create the circumstances to do so. That is what simulations are, life. They then use light to project their consciousness into somebody and limit their awareness to the same awareness of all the spirits around them so they can start building things and being productive from there. Or else, again, we're too individual, we're too egotistic for our own good, and we won't get anywhere. So this is the all-one realm, the universe, the big Z, the huge watery space where spirits can turn off their awareness so they can relate with others on their level. Water. Then there's the unobservable universe, the A, the space where spirits are vibing with themselves alone in their fiery visions before they create the circumstances to share them with others. Then both A and Z, both the unobservable and the observable universe, are given meaning by spirit, by nothingness space, which it is existing inside of. Both A, the unobservable universe, and Z, the observable universe, come together to be given meaning by unimaginable space. So right here, we can see the cycle of 3, how spirit goes from A to Z, bringing them together into something, an atmosphere, that now expresses its nothingness. So this is where we get fire, A, water, Z, and then those being communicated is the air, the externalization of the spirit who brought these two things together. Thus, all structures in life are built through symmetry's cycle of 3, the cycle of Z, the cycle of tree. Ego, soul, externalization of spirit. Fire, water, air. This process animates all earth, and it's all possible because nothingness feels like expressing its individuality from the internal to the external. If it did not feel like expressing its individuality from the internal to the external, it will not combine its water and fire in a way that creates air for you to see how that air then animates some earth. And of course, A1 plus Z8 equals 9. The universe showing us that we are creating the unobservable and the observable to realize who we are as spirits and observe both of these things and bring these together to keep creating life and learn about ourselves from using our awareness to pay attention to the light that we feel like using to connect with others. A1 plus Z8 equals 9, showing us that we as spirits are creating the unobservable and the observable universe to come together into a functional conversation so we can realize what we hate and what makes us happy, and then build a home from that H energy. And that's where we all use life, we all create the universe to generate our own soul, our own individual perspective, our own feeling on what we're seeing. And now we can go from being 9-dimensional beings into 10-dimensional beings, which is what? Heaven. That is a 9-dimensional spirit realizing that it's creating the universe, now being happy, being super pleasurable in its soul because it's able to connect its 1 and 0, its ego and spirit, its desires and desirelessness in a harmonious way. That is how we create the universe in a nutshell through the whole English language. I have been your boy Symmetry, aka Tahuti Trismegistus, aka Hermes Thrice Great. I'll see you later. Yeah.